It's time, it's time, it's time. It's building time. I hear people talk about their visions and dreams and destiny all the time. And then when I ask them, what are you doing? They're thinking about it. Well, let me think about it. Well, let me wait for the right time. The right time is now. Recently in prayer, I've been hearing, build it. It's building time. Tell people to move forward. It's time to build. You know, when it's all said and done, there'll be more said than done. But don't let that ever be said about you, because it's time to build. Now, I'm an excited person. I'm always excited, but I've never been more excited than I am right now. And one thing I love watching is I love watching other people do what God has called them to do. My friends, you've been thinking about something, and there's something that's been in your heart and in your mind to do, and it won't leave you. That is called Holy Spirit. When the Holy Spirit brings things up to your remembrance, He keeps those things fresh in your heart, and He won't let go of those things. You don't forget about them. It's because God has given you a mandate to do something on the earth. He needs you to build what is in your heart. Now, what happens is when we get a dream or a vision, a lot of times we think, oh, that's kind of insignificant. It's really not going to matter a whole lot. But I'm telling you, God thought enough to give you that dream, that purpose, that destiny. And now Holy Spirit thinks enough about that to keep bringing it to your remembrance, to keep bringing it up in your heart. Now it is time that you build it. It's time that you put your hands and you see something that you saw in your spirit. You saw in a vision. It's time that you see it in the natural, that you can grab a hold of it. I remember when my first book came out, and I held my first book in my hands. I cried, y'all. Don't judge me. A grown man crying. Yeah, if you went through what I went through to get that first book out, you would have cried too. But the Lord kept saying, it's time to write this book. It's time to get it out. You know, after I've written numerous books now, you know, it's not that hard to do it. But what happened is I had to get the first one out. I had to get the first ebook out. I had to get the first e-course out. If you want more information about those, they're in the links below, because I know that God gave me something to say. And so there's different ways to say it. I can preach it. I can write it. I can do some kind of a digital tool to put out there, because it's time to build. What has God called you to do? It may be something in the realm of arts. It may be something creative. It may be to start a nonprofit or a ministry to the homeless. It may be to create a new business. It may be to bring a new restaurant into a city. Now, I pray for those people in Texarkana all the time, and my prayers are working. We're getting so many new restaurants into the city, mainly because I've been praying for that a lot. But what you got to understand, whatever God has called you to, it's unique. And when you go on a God adventure, it changes everything. My friends, build it. Start building on what God has given you to do. It's building time. And like I said a while ago, my wife and I are building, and you can find a lot about what we're doing in the links below.